to between two barns? What happens between two bars? Stays between two barns. Iron Sparta! Short and water supply are loaded and waiting on you. Grab a drink and have a seat and they'll be right with you.
Sounds like a heavy metal doctor's office.
Yes, I like it. It's a banger. I like it a lot. So, episode 5 of Between Two Barns is where we're at now. We've changed the name. Between Two Barns is where we're at. I was going to call this the week that they can't hurt us. Auburn is off this week. We have some other things to talk about. We do have Auburn stuff that we do want to lead in with a little bit. Just we know that Auburn's got an off week this week. There's a lot going on. We're not going to hammer the stuff that's already been talked about infinite times today. The rumors and the disagreements between who called what and who didn't check down. That's going to be a Twin Peaks size mystery if we keep going. But so we have an off week this week. There's some theories going around about what happens, what Hugh's going to do around this time. He's not leading in anything, but Shark, you had a couple of ideas, a couple of theories about what may go down.
What's going to go down or what should go down?
I'm ready for both.
Okay, well, obviously we won't make our picks for Auburn until next Thursday against Missouri. But I really believe this week will be, other than the quarterback position, from what I understand, because that's locked in. Let me repeat, that's locked in. Let me see how sad I can say that. They're locked in. No Jackson Berkeley. But they are going to open up all position groups and all position battles again, and see if they can get some of the younger kids to actually either motivate the upperclassmen to beat them out, or see if they can step up, because percentage-wise they're not getting the snaps, but they're getting the stats, if that makes sense. A lot of these freshmen and redshirt freshmen and sophomores are actually, in the limited minutes they're performing better than a lot of the seniors. So that I would look for that coming into, that's what's going on right now this week in practice. And they can do that this week. They're not putting in, there's no game prep. So they're actually just firing in the freshmen and the sophomores to see if they can get some competition going and see who wants to be quote unquote coached hard. So I would not be surprised if Auburn looks different on the field personnel wise on both sides of the football coming in. Maybe left tackle. I don't see running back changing. Receivers I see changing. There's too many drops, too many things like that. Even people who are high NIL, and also in the defensive backfield, there's a safety Sylvester and Caleb. I can't remember Caleb's last name. It's not Wooden, but Caleb, the other Caleb. And the cornerback situation, and even in some linebacker spots. Not in the outside linebackers, not in the Bucks, not in the McLeod and the Falk, but in the other linebackers, and obviously not Asante. But there might be some changes. You might see some changes going into Missouri.
So you think this sounds kind of like you're angling towards somebody that we spoke about a few times that's had some people get behind him, specifically some big plays.
Well, it's not just him, because he still is probably the best slot receiver on the cornerback on the team. We talked about the move. I think they quit moving him in and out. I think that's what's been going on in the last two games against Oklahoma and against Georgia both. They were moving him inside and out, and that's got to be a pain in the tail for anybody. I think they're just going to leave him on the inside if he beats out. But I think there's going to be some competition at the outside position. Crawford's playing way too well. He'll probably get a lot more time, and Kayan's going to have to step up. Even though he's been great all year, he's still going to have to step up and beat out some kids.
Yeah.
But truly the safeties are what you're looking at here. You might see some new faces.
Hey, whatever they can use to motivate and get some stuff rolling, man. I am a fan of any side of the ball.
I'm hearing Tutal's not practicing yet, whether he'll be ready for the Missouri game. I don't think he's ready to be playing yet in the last two games. He's went out the last 2 games injured. He was injured and stayed out one game and then came back and then left both games. So I think they're looking at both tackle positions as well, which is Perry Thompson barely won that job coming out of camp. So who knows?
Hey man, I like it. Like I say, anything that can move the needle a little bit. I mean, fire up anybody. I'm a fan of.
Well, I mean, you got what's 8 games left, right? Am I doing math right?
Woof.
No.
I mean, you're counting a bowl game?
6 games left.
Yeah.
We have to win. We have to win 4 of them. 6 games left. We have to win 4 of them. Give me a definite win out of there. You got ULM. Take ULM out of that equation. All of those games are winnable. All of those games are losable. And I think if you lose the next 2, if you go to Missouri and lose, which I'm a spoiler, I don't think it's going to happen. I think we beat Missouri. And you go to Kentucky and you lose. But if you were to lose those 2 games, I think he is ready to pull the plug on Peyton. And he's kind of pulling the plug on the whole team right now. It's like we're going to see who the best players are, athletic wise, and who the best athletes are, and we're going to give them the shots. So I believe if you go in there and lose those 2, you're going to start thinking about the 2025, which kind of gets old if you're an Auburn fan because it's tired of hearing about, hey, it's going to be next year. It's going to be next year. And I think we're at a point now where we're going to have to. What I'm hearing is that we had no choice. We're going to have to go after a portal quarterback. So that'll be something we look forward to having conversations about.
If you're not playing Hank Brown now, then obviously the next quarterback's not even on the roster.
Which
it's going to take 2 more losses to give him a chance. There's no faith there.
I'm not gonna put words in anybody's mouth, but it's almost like they're skipping over Walker and Hank and going, well, Deuce is gonna be the guy, and we're gonna bring in somebody over him, out of the portal, and what happens happens. If Holden, and they don't want to lose all 3 of these guys, they'd like to keep Walker at least. From what I understand, they'd like to keep Walker. The rest of them, if they walked, they walked. No pun intended. But they're gonna go. They're going to go to the portal, and I don't know what. If you're Hank Brown, or like we've discussed this ad nauseum too. If you're Hank Brown or you're Walker, what do you do if they go get a guy in the portal and plus they pick up Deuce? That's a tough spot to be in.
So at this point, was the Hank Brown? Was that only to motivate Peyton? That was never an option. It wasn't like we were actually trying him out to be a starter. That was supposed to motivate Peyton, and then he was supposed to go sit back down and not cause this huge question that we still have.
I believe so. I also believe that the whole putting him as second string was, as the first backup was also a motivational technique. I don't think he was ready. And I'm a Brown fan. I thought they'd bring him in. I thought that he could have played this year. I was hoping he would, but I'm thinking Holden was back up last year basically. I don't see that Hank jumped him in any way whatsoever, other than that whole thing where Holden ran out of bounds on a play we supposed to play Hail Mary. But I don't think the quarterback's on the roster right now that's going to be playing next year or in 3 years.
Ouch. I don't have anything to add to that. If that's the case, that's really. We're really sitting on the next year train again.
Well, you got to think though, a lot of these guys are going to have. This football team is going to be. I mentioned this before. We were more than a quarterback away now. Next year, we will be just basically a quarterback away. We're gonna be stout at a whole lot of positions and with some depth at a whole lot of positions because of the way this year's going. So if you can get a quarterback just to come in and be remotely serviceable, not hurt us, you're probably going to win a lot of football games next year.
I like it. With the Cale Ellis reclassification, they've been talking to him about all the people that he's kind of doing like when Walker White committed, and then he started trying to pull in people through influence and through being a recruiter. Cale's doing the same thing. He's talking to a lot of people. He's dropped a lot of names this week that he's already working on to commit. With him and Deuce, both are trying to gain several names that are big. It's amazing. I hope that they can pull that through. But we're already, like you say, so stacked. It would be we could be really, really, really close to something if they
It-
can pull in the people they're trying to pull in.
I think the conversation at this point turns for us as, and I'm not expecting us to do it right now because I haven't done any research on this, but who do you think is going to be available in the portal?
Yeah, I
And
know, and that's what we were talking about.
we're going to have to start looking at that, and I don't know. I don't know who that is because you don't want to go too young. You take a chance of blowing deuce and definitely Walker out for sure. So you're looking for a 5th-year guy, and
The
Oh.
UNLV guy is available. Just saying.
He is available.
he
You
will
only got to
stay.
give him and he's cheap.
Yeah, I mean, especially when they look better without him. Boy, that's a bad business decision, isn't it? I'm leaving because y'all didn't do this, and I'm the good guy, and then all of a sudden they start looking like a one hell of an offense without him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, but Texas A&M's got 2 starters. Oklahoma's got 2 starters. So every
And
now
them
and then.
starters are too young though.
Yeah, but and so are Oklahoma's.
I'm saying for
Yeah.
us to poach one.
Yeah, for us to poach one, it would ruin.
Yeah, that's
our,
what I'm talking about. Yeah.
it'd be too young.
Lagway's too young.
Yeah. Or however you say his name.
Mm.
The guy from Tennessee, he's not going anywhere. He's well paid.
Yeah. He's well
Yeah.
compensated.
Yeah, he's a franchise.
You might grab that. The backup for Alabama because there's going to be quite a few people bailing from that 9-3 program at the end of the
There's
year.
already one. Somebody bailed this week.
Defensive lineman.
Yeah,
Yep.
but he wasn't playing anyway. That was a non-story that just happened. He decided before the game he wasn't going to do it, so it wasn't a Vanderbilt loss thing. Still made for a fun story to watch.
I still like the story.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun to watch Alabama fans get mad about that stuff, isn't it?
Yeah. Between T-shirts and everything else. Yeah,
They're gonna be madder when Ryan Williams is back up at Auburn next year.
man, I don't even know what that would be. People would roll tumors for that. That would be
We wouldn't
the
really
flip
want
of
him.
all flips.
He is the youngest person ever to lose to. He's the youngest person in history to ever lose to Vanderbilt. So.
I didn't. Yeah, he is. He set the record there. I didn't like that he ran that one touchdown, the long one he had, backwards. The last 5 or 6 yards, he turned around and kind of jogged backwards. And I thought, talk about like a non-Alabama Saban. He's not there, but non-Sabanish thing. It was, yeah, I didn't like.
You do know he's only 17 years old.
I know, but I mean, still, yeah, you can't not know it. It's tattooed everywhere. But I mean, I would be. It's another thing that's weird at Alabama is watching some of that. The way, and then I even heard an interview where they went to the offensive coordinator, receivers coach. They were talking, and they were asking questions about Ryan, and they kept being like, "Yeah, They kept changing the subject. They don't want that to be the subject right now when they're trying to talk about football games and they're trying to keep out like the rat poison. They actually changed the subject on several people that were interviewing them to stay on the game.
Like they did with the ice cream story. They just bounced it and they don't want to answer the question.
Yeah. But on that one, they just don't want to have him, this is Alabama, not Ryan Williams University, I guess.
He's their best player.
Yeah, right now it's Milroe and Ryan Williams University. That's what they've got.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the reason Auburn has a shot at beating them because we can put K in on him and possibly double him because our defense is looking better and better by the week. And I'm one of the believers. And I know Hugh Freeze doesn't seem to believe this way because he's not going to – and I heard somebody else mention this. He's not going to change his coaching for anything. He knows his offense is going to work, so he's not going to make a change.
Yeah, I know.
But really a lot of SEC games have been won in history and still are by a rushing offense and a really, really good defense, and we have those.
Yeah.
We have those two things. Nobody can stop our run, really. Even there's 8 in the box, we're good.
Yes, but we have to do it.
But I think he's given up. I think this is like we're going to run our offense.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
I want all the perimeter guys to learn how to run our offense, and it may look like crap this year, but it's going to pay off next year, and we'll see how that works.
Maybe. Be nice to use one of the best running backs in the country.
Kind of does.
Well,
suck to ruin senior seasons for some of these guys, doesn't it?
Yeah. All right, so let's go to our picks of the week that we have for this week. Got a few games set aside that we'll pull up here. Your
My
notes.
notes.
Man, how small did you write? Not big.
I didn't write anything. I typed it like a human. Come on.
I was gonna type it, but I didn't know where I was gonna put it, so I didn't do it.
I have this screen right here. Just
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's go to our picks of the week.
Picks of the week. Picks of the week. Picks of the week. Picks of the week. Picks of the week.
Yeah, picks of the week. All right. So we got our picks of the week here. We set aside these 7 games that we're specifically focusing on. Some of them were tough. Some of them are definitely tough. And then trying not to pick with your heart on 1 or 2 of them also was tough. So I'll start out with the Texas-Oklahoma game. I've said all along that I think Texas is for real. This is the test that I've been waiting. I mean, a test as far as I like watching good football games. Watching them go up against somebody that's supposed to be able to compete. I'm looking forward to this as just watching pure, good, entertaining football. The things that I was kind of keying on is that Texas top 4 scoring defense in the country. They've got Quinn Ewers coming back for this game, and on OU, you still got the freshman quarterback. And this stage, even though it's at Oklahoma, it's big.
No, it's
My bad.
Dallas. It's a split.
You're right, because they were talking about how it's actually going to be split 50-50 in the that's my bad. They were talking about the momentum swings can be, the momentum swings back and forth can be pretty drastic in this setting. That's still a big setting to me, and if you're a freshman, that's not cool. I'm still picking Texas 1,000% on this one. I hope it's close, just for good football, but I really do think that they're for real, and their defense is going to shut down everything that the Sooners have. So I will take Texas. Of course, last time we did these, the winner by a score of 3-2 across the board was all 2s except for Shark, who got 3. So this season has been rough on the picks. But yeah, I'll take Texas on the first one.
Charlie, I think Oklahoma's defense will keep this game close for a little bit, but I think, as you said, I agree. Texas is one of the top teams in the nation, and if they'd have played last week, Oklahoma might have won this game with all the upsets. But this week, I think Texas is just clicking, and this is going to be their week, and then probably cover the spread of 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, maybe the upset poison is out of the water. Everybody's going to right the ship this week.
That's what I was thinking as well. Yeah. Well, as far as me, I mean, not to reiterate over both of y'all, but I think Texas defense is much better than Oklahoma's offense, and I don't think Oklahoma's defense is as good as people think it is. It's just complicated. Venables puts a complicated defense on the field, and I think if Ewers plays and he's sharp, I don't believe that this game's even close. I don't believe Texas gives it up this week. I don't know when Texas will lose. I haven't really thought about that, but I'm going to go ahead and go with Texas, and they cover, I believe.
Got you. Got Shark for Texas. Shark, do you want to start the Cal game so we're not running over each other? You start with that one?
Okay. Think you want to reverse the process?
Yeah, let's go backwards.
So Cal Pitt. I'm definitely going to pick Pitt in this game. I think Pitt's a top 10 team. Crazy, but I think Pitt is a top 10 football team. So I'm going to pick Pitt going away versus Cal. I think this may be another one that's not close at the end. It might surprise some people. I honestly believe Pitt's not 10th or 11th in the country right now as a football program, if not higher. People are sleeping on Pitt, and they're a pretty good football team.
Oh yeah, they're the quietest 5-0 team in the country for sure.
Yeah, they look good.
Charlie, thoughts?
I agree. Narduzzi's a good coach. Cal coming off that ACC officiating last week, late into the night, and then having to travel across the country to Pittsburgh to face an undefeated Pitt. Pitt wins easily.
Easily.
I feel like Cal's been all over our TV for the whole year, though.
They have been.
And they've
I-
lost
it's
Like
like-
I know they joined the ACC, and it's we're close to ACC country, but I feel like every week we're talking about Cal for some reason.
because they still lead the nation in interceptions because
Yeah.
of us.
They still,
Yes.
nobody's caught them from.
I said that last week against Miami. They were like, "You're leading the nation with 10." I'm like, "We got 5 of them came in one game."
Yes. So I was looking at this. Yeah. Still, I'm still going to
It's a
call that
thorn in the side.
the Chick-fil-A of college football. Yeah, I was looking at the stats on this. Pitt's stats are crazy. I know that they're 5-0, they're quiet. They haven't played a bunch of huge games that everybody's watching. They're averaging 522 yards a game and 46 points. Their running back he averages 194 all-purpose. I mean, we saw Cal. Cal's good. They play up. I think somehow Cal plays up to the quality of the person that they're playing against, or down. But on this one, I don't think that they can touch them. I really, I'm with you. That Pitt is headed for the top 10. I mean, they're just looking at what they've done this year is insane number wise. But yeah, I will totally take Pitt for that one.
I think Clemson and Pitt should be transposed right now, poll wise.
Yeah,
Yes.
they started low and they got to work up. But luckily, they got 12 spots to aim for this year. So see if they can fit one in. Ohio State. Go ahead.
Not to beat on it, but you
Do
said Pitt's probably the most underrated 5-0 team. I would have to say Iowa State and Pitt are probably the two 5-0 teams who are just completely underrated because they're both really good football teams.
So Iowa State, I didn't know enough as far as I know they're 5-0 and they're quiet. Do you think they're underrated? Do you think they're on that level of good, or they've just played the right
top.
teams?
I think them and Pitt both are both top 10 football teams, especially when you start taking people out like Clemson, and I think Penn State's a fraud. Notre Dame shouldn't be as high as they are. I know they're still 11th, but they're tied right now with Iowa State. BYU shouldn't be that high. Utah shouldn't be that high after a loss. Boise should be rising even though they got the one loss. But Kansas State, there's a lot of teams here that shouldn't be. Like Indiana's 6-0 and they're in the top 20. But I mean, they're not at that level. I think
No.
Pitt and Iowa State are two teams that are just. I think we're going to end up seeing one of them in the playoff.
Yeah, I do too.
We're not going to see them.
Well, no, we'll watch them on TV.
Yeah, yeah. Worried.
Yeah. Ohio State. Huh?
I was sorry to cut you off. Those
No,
Iowa State you just talked about with Pitt, like that's two really good football coaches that had a couple of down years that did not get run out of town, and they've had good years in the past, and then had a downturn, and they stayed with them.
Yeah, they gave them time to work with the program, unlike an SEC.
Correct.
See where you're going there. Third game, Ohio State, Oregon. This game, I do not like Ohio State. Not to not win the game. I just don't like them at all. I've never liked them. Going all the way back to Tressel, to Urban, and now old Beard Boy. But unfortunately, they have one of the best statistic defenses in the country. Oregon, I don't think they're going to be able to hang with them. One of the things that I saw was the size of their corners. I just went through, I read it and I thought that can't be possible. So I flipped through the size of most of their corners, and they're under 6 feet tall, like 5'10", 5'11", 5'10", 5'10". I don't think they're going to hang with Ohio State, and I don't think it's going to be particularly close, actually. I would say Ohio State hangs one on them, and that takes a lot because that's picking with my heart. I would never pick Ohio State, but I'm big on them for this game. Charlie?
Are we going to agree on every pick today?
That's going to be a problem, isn't it? I'm just noticing that.
I haven't seen anything from Oregon that tells me that they're going to be able to slow down or to score with Ohio State. I watched the Michigan State game last Friday night with Oregon, and they threw 2 picks inside the red zone, just stuff like that. I just don't. I haven't seen enough from them to compete. So they fall off of the undefeated radar this week. And I agree, not going to be real close.
Well,
Take Oregon, Shark.
I'm going to, without question. I'm going to be. I almost want to say not so fast, but I'm not old enough.
Yes.
I don't think Ohio State travels up to Oregon and beats Oregon. It's a 3.5 point spread right now.
It's 3, yeah.
It's 3.
So obviously the Vegas guys think it's going to be even football game. And I think that Oregon can score with Ohio State. Nate, let's face it, both these teams haven't played anybody for real.
Right.
Correct.
And I know what you're saying about the smaller cornerbacks, but smaller cornerbacks have won SEC and national championships before. You got to get some. I don't have any faith in either one of these quarterbacks, really. But if I had to pick one, there were so many people before preseason and so far the season has been in my ear about the Oregon quarterback, about how good he's going to be and how Bo Nick, how they brought him in, all this stuff. I really just feel like, and this is pure gut, I really feel like Oregon wins a close, high-scoring game.
I will say if it's a close game and it comes down to coaching, Dan Lanning over Ryan Day.
Yeah.
I've seen Dan Lanning do some weird stuff with clock management, though.
Yeah, me too.
Well, we've seen Ryan Day do a lot of weird stuff.
Yeah, he does a lot of stuff with his heart. It's strange.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's hard to go up there. When I lived in Washington State, Oregon was just a culture exercise. I've been to a few Ducks games, and that was just where people went to hang out. But that place has gotten pretty serious now. Washington and Oregon have gotten. It's not like they're playing it. If they were playing at Ohio State, I would completely go the other way on this. But at Oregon, I'm gonna go with Oregon.
And it's a night game.
Yep.
Never know.
Gonna be crazy.
Penn State, USC. I'm interested, Shark. You said Penn State is a fraud.
Yeah, but South Carolina. USC is worse. It's worse.
Okay.
Fraud. So if you're going for me there, I mean, I don't even have to. Penn State's going to win this game without a problem. I don't think USC is very good. I mean, Michigan kind of taught the world that, and they're not there yet. I actually believe Southern Cal is better than USC. So. What did I just say there?
You just said the same thing?
Yeah, I just said the same thing. I mean, I know they're getting both.
If they played each other 10 times out of 10, who would win?
I'm trying to think of who I was trying to think of. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm going to go with Penn State on that one.
Do you think the Lincoln Riley hot seat gets hot? Or do you think they give him a leash?
I think he's got time. I mean, he got a dumpster fire. He really did. So it's going to take some time for him. If they don't, they're being foolish, and he'll end up at Auburn or Florida.
Florida
would be a great get for them.
Yeah,
that would be, yes. That would be.
That's a hell of a. He's a great coach. He needs some time. His situation's worse than. I can't think of another coach who actually went to a high-profile job that had a worse roster sitting there, other than maybe when Freeze got Harsin's roster.
Right. Well, Harsin tweeting every dang Monday morning with his tweets. With his cup of coffee or whatever. He did it again.
To do.
Yeah, I know. He's just trolling. I wish people would quit responding to it, honestly, because he loves it.
It's mostly Alabama fans.
I know that. But it wasn't. Except for this Monday was a little different because even they were like, nah, let that one go. Charlie, what do you think?
There's USC's not bringing anything to the table. What's crazy is that first game of the year against LSU, everybody thought USC was back and LSU was not. And now we're sitting here 6 weeks later, and
that was crazy.
USC's not good, and we still really don't know about LSU.
Yeah, to jump off on the LSU thing for a minute, which I guess we'll get to in a minute. I'll hold off on that.
Yeah, very next.
Yeah,
it's next.
I have a thought on that. And then, of course, I'm taking Penn State. I do think that they're also somewhat fraudish, but not this week.
They're not a top 10 team, but they're a USC beating team.
No, they're
another team that hasn't played anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, am I wrong?
Yeah, the SEC is going to beat themselves down, and the Big Ten's like floating through right now. It's
And they're still not USC isn't anybody either. So
yeah.
No.
All right. So I was going to say on the LSU thing, I didn't even put them in that order on purpose, but it worked out great. That first game of the season, Nussmeier came out, and I was like, "Holy crap! They got another Joe Burrow." He looked like he was on fire, and then they went on to lose that game, and that has been the craziest up and down. Man, it's crazy.
South Carolina game was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Let's see. So I had this one down as this. This is a must-win for LSU, and for Ole Miss. Either they have to win this one or they have to win Georgia. Like, so they're both, if they're both eyeing the playoffs, these are basically both they're looking at a must-win game for both of them. I didn't write down who I was taking yet, and I'm still a little iffy, but I'm going to take LSU. There's nothing even on like it make it like it's a hard choice, like I'm going to lose something or whatever. But pride. I don't know, man. Like Lane, I like Lane as a coach. Jackson Dart is awesome, but I do think LSU is coming on into it. Not always. LSU's defense every year is tough. Let's see. The big thing I had here was that they're going to have to do it passing because Ole Miss allows 1.8 yards per rush. So that's going to be tough. But it's going to be on Nussmeier, and I think he can do it. So I'm taking LSU. Charlie.
I think Ole Miss losing to Kentucky opened their eyes. I think LSU losing Harold Perkins hurts them on defense. He was their best player, even though they played him at the wrong position. But I still take Ole Miss to win the game. I got a question for you. When you said it's a must-win, does Ole Miss play Texas A&M?
I didn't
They got
look
the
at.
easiest schedule. I know that. I don't think or it was. I don't know that that's changed.
I was just thinking because A&M's first in the SEC right now.
Auburn's definitely.
Yeah, they play. No, we don't.
They got Georgia, then they got Florida, and then Mississippi State.
Yeah, I mean, so
Jeez.
Wait, yeah, they got the easiest schedule.
really, yeah, they can kind of control. I mean, you can't control your own destiny because you've got Georgia and LSU.
That's it.
But by losing to Kentucky,
Arkansas
they
might
put
be
themselves in a bind.
Arkansas could be a little tricky for them, November 2nd. But other than that, yeah, they don't play. This and Georgia is their big game.
Yeah. Shark, what are you thinking on that one?
Man, it's really hard to pick against LSU in Death Valley at night, isn't it?
Yeah.
But
I didn't think it was.
and you know what? I don't need.
So you're saying they're winning, like they're going to kill them. You're saying
No, I mean, what it reminds me of, I don't know why, but it reminds me of, do you remember when Lane Kiffin took that team to Tennessee, and Tennessee was favored to win by 2 touchdowns, and people ended up throwing.
Yeah, they threw trash and golf balls and all
batteries
kinds of stuff.
This is,
Mustard.
he gets his teams up to go play on the road when they're not supposed to win. And I just think this is one of those weeks. I think Kentucky's got a better defense than LSU. I think it woke Ole Miss up. You saw that last week. They got up and they didn't allow any messing around by South Carolina. I think Ole Miss's defense is underrated, so I'm going to go with Ole Miss on this one too. And I don't think that one's going to be as close. I don't think LSU is I think they're probably another 3-loss team.
Wow.
And I can't stand Brian Kelly, so.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can't either, but I always have a soft spot for LSU for some reason. Man. They've got one of the coolest uniforms in all of football. I do love their uniforms.
They got another one of those Dollar Tree cat mascots, so.
Well, they have an awful mascot, yes, but that LSU logo on the side of the helmet with that tiger is premium. I love it. On the white helmet, yes.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Vanderbilt game. So Shark.
Switches back to me. God, to me this was the toughest one.
Yeah.
Trivia for you. Who's ranked higher without looking, Vanderbilt or Kentucky?
Kentucky.
Wrong.
Dang.
Vanderbilt is got 26 votes to be in the top 25. Kentucky only got one. I honestly think Vanderbilt can win this game. It's I don't even know what the line is, but I'm gonna go. This is one of those
Two
I'm gonna go.
touchdowns.
The line is huge.
The line is
It's two touchdowns, 13
Yeah.
and a half.
Kentucky
Yeah.
favor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the reason why is because, and this is why I'm not picking them. Vanderbilt has been they're 3-0 at home, but they've been horrible on the road, other than Missouri. But I think they're going to keep this game really close. You know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna pick Vanderbilt to win this game.
Wow.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm picking Kentucky. I'm just joking. I'm picking Kentucky. They had their moment against Alabama, and Diego is gonna meet a real defense this week. And I believe, at Kentucky, that's a tough ask for Vanderbilt. Let's face it, they're outskilled at every position in this football game, other than quarterback. I mean,
But they were
And they're
last
probably
year.
still hungover.
Yeah, and they're hungover, and they're probably outskilled at quarterback. Vanderbilt's probably a better quarterback down the road than Pavia is. His ceiling's probably higher than Pavia. So,
Yes.
I mean, when you're outskilled on the road, I think this gives them their loss after that monumental Alabama victory.
Charlie.
I have to agree with everything he said. I don't see a way of. I mean, I would love for Vanderbilt to win and continue this little Cinderella story, but they also lost to Georgia Southern, so I don't. I think this could be an ugly game. I just don't see a whole lot of Kentucky's defense is going to slow down Diego. But I just don't see them being able to score with Kentucky, and I don't think Kentucky's going to have to score a lot. So
There you go. It might be a 17-3 ball game.
yep.
Yeah, I did read take the under on this one because it's going to be slow and drag.
Kentucky will get nasty.
Yeah. All four of Vandy's FBS games are decided by one possession.
Yep.
Pavia has 8 TDs and 0 INTs.
And how many games have they won away?
Right. You said that one. Kentucky, one of the top running defenses in the country. That was the hang up for me, is that being one of the top running defenses in the country, if you make him one dimensional, he can throw. He showed he could throw in the last game. And that was one thing I meant to say. Well, no, I can say it now. Hearing people talk about him as a quarterback this week on sports radio, like he hasn't been like we didn't tell you about this last year, and they're like, this guy is like Diego Pavia. Hey, this quarterback, and it's on the next game. I heard people comparing South Carolina's quarterback to Diego. I'm like, last week y'all didn't even mention his name, and we told y'all about him a year ago. And now here y'all are, throwing his name around. But I think if you make him as one-dimensional as Kentucky can make him, that becomes a problem. So as much as I would like to make it interesting, I'm going to try to be right and go with Kentucky.
And also, if you saw all the people breaking down Alabama's defense this week,
yes,
and how all it was Tim Beck and Diego knowing what they were calling every single time.
Yep.
Oh,
I saw some terrific
holes in Tuscaloosa. Yeah, I did too.
Oof. I mean, it was bad. They had an answer for every single, they knew the defense and they knew exactly what to do to break it, and they just
they ran a cover one, and they just kept on running the guy in motion, and they just filled in the hole.
Yep. You must have seen the same thing I did. That was mind-blowing to me that at the level that Alabama's at, they called the exact same defense the entire game and never swapped up.
Hurt.
No, I'm talking about, but Alabama never changed their defense. They stuck in it.
It didn't work.
It's South Alabama defense.
Yeah, they were calling it the 4-2-5. And everybody was like, it's the nickel. It's been around for years. Why are you calling it 4-2-5? This isn't brand new. They're like, they're running something new called the 4-2-5. That was funny. South Carolina game, man, boy, do I want the hangover to keep hanging. So one of the big ways that Vanderbilt won was that they were able to control the clock through the running, through slugging it out and keeping the time going. And South Carolina can't do that. They do have a super mobile quarterback that heard people trying to compare him to Pavia, which he's long and lanky and he's not shifty and short like Pavia is and can hide behind the line. South Carolina has allowed a ton of sacks. That is a problem. I would really like for South Carolina to win, but if I had to pick to be right, then I'm taking Alabama. And I think this is going to be old school Alabama beatdown. Like they're going to come back like we thought they were at the beginning of the season and put it on them. So unfortunately, I think Alabama wins, and I have no doubt in that one. Charlie.
If this game was in South Carolina, I would have maybe a small amount of question just because of what happened last week. But I think the Alabama players will be a whole lot more dialed in this week that they don't have to live through what they lived through. And, they're going to stomp South Carolina.
Oh,
It's a 21-point spread, though. It's a lot.
3 touchdown spread. The only thing that would give me pause in this game is the schedules after the South Carolina game for Alabama. I don't know if you know what that is, but they play South Carolina. Then I know they're not looking past Tennessee. They might be looking at past South Carolina to Tennessee. Then you got Missouri, LSU, Oklahoma, Auburn. They got a hell of a schedule to finish with here. The way they looked against Vanderbilt.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no way I'm picking against them this week at home. They're going to be mad. They're going to be running backwards. They're going to be throwing their mouthpieces and hunching guys on the field.
Yeah. Yeah, don't worry. He said he talked to him on Instagram and apologized for banging his head into the ground. And he said I meant no ill will.
Yeah, no hard feelings about me, treating you like a dog.
Yeah.
Picks up the wing. Picks up the wing. Picks up the wing. Picks up the wing.
All right, there you can see all of our picks for this week. A couple of hard games. A couple of them we all picked the same. There's some good games coming up. We're looking for somebody next week that's interested in being a guest picker. Hit us up on socials, Between Two Barns. Direct message us on Twitter. We'll get you hooked up. Let you know the games ahead of time. It's as simple as us shooting you a link and then you having some earphones and a cell phone or as big a setup as you have at home. But let us know. We're looking for somebody who wants to come on, have a little fun, make some picks. But thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.
Welcome to Between Two Barns. What happened between two bars? Stay between two bars.